I am Tanchikiwao, Rasfayant, Shinakashon, Egua Valley Katapwe, Doshtin, Maka Opashtoli Zuni weekend, Eguan Atoshkan Porosanta Pergina, Tanden Kishinamakan, Lizistuer, the Michif, Egua, the Long the Michif, Egua Pimachanan, not Pimachanan. So I am an instructor at Santa Pergina, and I co-teach a Michif class with one of my teachers, Irma Klein. I also teach Métis history and I teach Métis culture for Santa Perjana. So that's right, Charmaine. You're in the right class. You're not in the French class tonight. So although you will hear Abshish le Français tonight. So as we've talked about many times before over the past couple of weeks, Michif is influenced by both Cree and by French. And so if you have been a learner of either one of those languages, you will hear some very familiar sounds and phrases tonight. So we'll get started, I think, with a little bit of review. And of course, one of the big things that we keep reviewing and that we've reviewed the past couple weeks is just how to say hello to a Michif person. And so we've learned that when you say Tanchikia, you're saying hello to one person. What you're actually saying is, how are you? And when you're saying hello to a group, you say Tanchikia wow. So you add the wow on the end to pluralize it. And we've talked about some ways that you can respond to Tanche Kiawao. So I'm going to test some people here and see if you remember some of these responses. And if it doesn't go very well, we'll review some of the responses. But I'm going to start here with, let's see, how about Tyra? Tanche Kia.
I knew you were going to do that. Okay, Tanchikia Wow Tyra de Shinakashun, La Crescent Lake Dushin. I think this is like Carry the Kettle, Nikiwin. Does that, I live on Carry the Kettle?
Niweekin.
Yeah, Niweekin.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I'm losing my notes here. A Maîtresse d'école Imperial.
So you can say in Methras the call Don Imperial. I'm a teacher in Imperial School. Yep, that works
Okay,
good.
On Imperial.
Good. Kimiototen, you did good. Considering all I asked you is how are you, so you gave me a lot. You gave me a lot more than that, but that's awesome. Let's see. Let's go to Tiffany. Tiffany Tanchikia.
Tanchikia wow. Tiffany de Shana Koshun. I don't have my notes with me. I was kind of late coming in.
That's okay, Sikiam. So it's awesome that you guys are giving me way more than I'm asking for. But do you remember Kikishkishin, some of the common responses for when you say to somebody Tanchikia, how are you? So we looked at, you could say 90% of the time somebody will say Namanandao, and that means nothing's wrong with me. You could say Daeshkoshin, which means I'm tired. You could say toujours pareil, which means I'm the same as I always am. Hopefully that's good. You could say namaya mahchohon, which means I'm not feeling that good. Or another way to say that is naahkoshin, which means I'm sick. You could say namiyoyan, which means I'm good. So hopefully you can choose one of those, and I'm going to continue asking a few people here. Shanna asks a really interesting question, which I get this question a lot from some of my my white settler friends. She says, "How do you say I'm a white settler?" Absolutely, you are correct, Shanna. In the Valley, we would say "un blanc." Which is a white person. But you can also, quite often when I was growing up, I heard my old ones say les Anglais, which of course means the English, but they would often use it to reference any settler Canadian person. So either of those work fine, and either is perfectly fine to say, but and blanc works fine too. Let's go to Charmaine. Charmaine, Tanchikia.
Uh-oh. Shoot, sorry, Russ. I don't have my cheat sheet in front of me because I have no idea what I'm saying.
Are you feeling okay?
I no, hold on. I'm trying to bring it up, but it's not coming for me, and I apologize. You're gonna have to call on someone else. I'm a bad student.
If you're feeling okay, you can just say namanando.
Namanando.
Perfect.
Well, actually, now I'm feeling stupid. So how do you say that?
Patli smart. But let's see, let's try, I think I'm pronouncing this right. Linnea, Tanchikia.
Namanando.
Perfect. Awesome. And if you want to ask me how I'm doing, remember you could say Namanando, Kia Maga. How about you?
Namanando Kiawaga.
Kia Maga.
Kiamaga.
Abshishtayesh kushin. I'm a little bit tired. Makasikiam. It's okay. Let's try one more. Let's go to Bernadette. Tanchikia.
Chikia.
So you could say Namanando. You could say Nemioyan. You could say Jaquinapa, which means I don't know how I am. Let's assume you're Mioyan. Mioyan, you're good. I hope you're good anyway. Good. So I'm glad to see that some people were ready to give a full introduction because that's what we're going to review next. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Hopefully you all got the materials for tonight, and hopefully you can all see what's on my screen. Melinda and Kelly, give me a thumbs up if you can see the colors counting and money sheet. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I've put the review of the introduction right on here. So again, if you're saying hello to one person, it's Tanchikia. And if you're saying hello to more than one person, you need to add a wow on the end. So Tanchikia wow. And when you're saying what your name is or what you're called, you would say your name. So my name's Russ Dishinika Shun. Dishinika Shun. Remember, there's an H in there that you really have to make an effort to push out, which I know is a challenge because we don't have that in English. But Russ Dishinika Shun. And then when you're saying, often Michis will want to know not necessarily where you live, but where are you from? Where are your people from? And specifically, maybe if you're Métis, where are your Métis people from? Where are your Métis roots? So I'm from the Katapwa Valley, so I would say Le Valley Katapwe Doshchin. Le Valley Katapwe Doshchin. And then if you want to say where you live, so the verb to live is weekend. So I would say Opashtau lizu ne weekend. Opashtau lizu means pile of bones. So what I'm really saying is I live in Regina. Opashtau lizu ne weekend. And then if you want to say what you do for a living, you can say en metra de kolnia, which means I'm a teacher. But you can also say where you work, and the verb to work is atoshka. So you would say ne atoshkan por, and then wherever your company is that you work for. So you could say ne atoshkan por Brant Industries, ne atoshkan por li farmi. I work for farmers. And then the last thing, I'm not sure if we've actually done this, but one of the other things Michifs often want to know is who are you related to? They're trying to figure out if they can date you or not, I guess. But no, we're nosy and we like to know who our cousins are. And so to say who you're related to, you could say Newako Mawak. And that means I'm related to. And then you would list all of the family names that you're related to. And so particularly if you are Métis or Michif, if it's a Métis person asking you this question, they really want to know who are your Métis people. So I would say Newako Mawak li Fayan, li Raset, li Klein, li Kajanal, li Alari, Egwa, li Ledu. Remember that this word here, Egwa, means end. Okay, so I'm saying I'm related to Fants, Rossettes, Kleins, Cardinals, Alleries, Ledoux's, and a whole bunch of other Métis people from the Valley. So if you're from the Valley, hopefully I haven't dated you. So the whole thing together would be Tanche Kiawao, Ras the Shinakashon, La Valley Katapwe Doshtin, Maka Opashtauli Zuni Wikin, Egwa in Metra de Kolnia, Na Atoshkan por Suntap, Egwa Nawakama Wakli Fayan, Li Raset, Li Klein, Li Kajanelli, Alari, Egwa Li Ledu. So let's see, I'm going to pick on somebody here and see if you are okay doing an introduction. So let's go to Stephen. Stephen, do you want to introduce yourself to the group?
Sure, I'll try. Tanchi Kiowa, Stephen Dishnakashun, Saskatoon Doshin, Opushta Li Zu Ni Weekend, Ein Mitra Dikolnia Ni Atoshkan por University of Regina.
Kimiototen, very good. Igwa Wenake Wakama, who are you related to?
Ni Wamakawak, no Michifs, but
Sikiam, it's okay.
Lee Davis's, Lee Heichel, Lee Henderson's.
Awesome. Let's try Tiberius. Do you want to try to introduce yourself?
Sure. Tanche Kia, Tiberius de Shinikashun, Li Valley Katapue de Oshin, Opuchtao Les Yeux Ni Wikin, Ni Wakomowak, Li Fayant, Li Recette, Li Desjolais, and I forget the other ones. There's 8 of them now.
Kimiotote, and that was really, really good. And of course, it would all be the same names because, of course, we're cousins. So. Okay, let's try one more here. Madeleine. Oh, that's a good Michif name. Madeleine, do you want to try to introduce yourself in Michif?
Sure. Tanchi Kiawao, Madeleine Nishikishin, L'Ontario, Dushin. Was I'm a settler.
And Blanc.
Oh, okay. On Blanc. So Nia on Blanc Nia or
En Blanc Nia. Yep.
on Blanc Nia. Opushta Li Zuni Wigan.
Good.
And archiviste Nia. That's the same as the French.
Yep.
All right. Ni Wakomawak Lee Myers did Moose Jaw.
Good. Good job. Okay, what I'm going to try to do, we haven't experimented with breakout groups, so I think we're going to do some of that tonight. And so what I'm going to do is make some random groups, and I'm going to ask the people who are comfortable to introduce yourself to the group that you are put in. So let's see if I can get this to work here. I'm going to assign automatically, and let's make 6 breakout groups. So it will ask you, if you've never been on Zoom before, it will ask you to join your breakout group. And after about 2 minutes or so, I'll give you a warning that we're about to leave the breakout groups. And so a pop-up thing will pop up on your Zoom and it'll ask you to rejoin the group. So we'll try this out. So there's about 4 or 5 people per room. And so again, if you're comfortable, you can just sort of take turns. And if you're not comfortable, that's okay too. You can just keep your mute on and then your group will know that you're not feeling comfortable to introduce yourself. But we will try this out, and don't be surprised if I pop in your room. Some people are having so much fun in their breakout room, they don't want to come back. Come back to us.
Russell, how do you say retired?
Namona atoshkan. I don't work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Somebody before had asked me, hopefully they're back here, not one of the people that are lingering in the breakout rooms, but somebody asked me, how do you say principal? And it's le principal. Le principal. I can put that in the chat. Principal is le principal. Somebody's a high mucky muck. So hopefully that gave you a chance to practice a little one-on-one, and I'm not sure if it helps if I'm not in the breakout group or if I'm in the breakout group, but I know my group did very well. So I'm really proud. But I do want to I want to go over it one more time, because I think there was a couple little words that maybe people were struggling with. So you can just repeat after me, and I'll just ask you to make sure you're muted so that we don't hear everybody all at once. So to say hello, tanche kia is one person, and to many people, tanche kia wow. Tanche kia wow. So again, when you're saying what your name is, it's really important to push that H out in the middle of shinika shun. Russ nishinika shun. You got to get real breathy with this language. Shinika shun. And when you're saying where you're from, Le Valley d'Oshchin. Le Valley d'Oshchin. And when you're saying where you live, so if it's Regina, you could say either Opashtaulizu or a Regina ne weekend. Ne weekend. Exactly how it's spelled. Ne weekend. And if you are saying who you're related to, again, there's an H in there. So you really have to push that H out. I know it's hard. I know it's really hard because we don't have those H's in English. But if you say wakamawak, which is what my students tend to say, you'll get a response similar to what I tell my students, which is that's what Fozzie Bear says. Waka waka waka. You got to push the H out. So it's wakomawak. Ne wakomawak. I am related to. Ne wakomawak. It's kind of like when you're telling somebody, wah. Which we often say in disbelief of each other. Wah, wah, wah. Got to push it out. Wah, goma, wak. Somebody's asking in the chat, how do you say near? So if you're near Regina, you would say ara. So A-R-A-W. So you could say ne weekend ara la Regina. I live near Regina. Or you could say ne weekend ara la rivière. I live near a river. Retired is Namo Atoshkan. I don't work. Namo Atoshkan. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to some new stuff today. So again, I'm going to share my screen and go back to the lesson 3 sheet, which you all received. So today we are looking at colors and counting as well. So I kind of put it all together on a chart here. And hopefully you can see what I've got up on the screen. So yellow or colors in Michif come directly from French, and that's because most nouns in Michif are French derived. So because colors are an adjective, things that describe nouns, they are also French derived, although they are pronounced differently. And if you've taken French before, you'll notice that right away when we go through and pronounce these. So I'll just get you again to repeat after me. So the word yellow is jaune. Jaune. Remember in Michif, there are no J sounds, but there are ZH sounds. Jaune. So brown is chocolat. Chocolat, which of course means chocolate. I don't know why brown is chocolat. I guess we like sweet things. But yeah, if you say brune, A Michif will know what that means, but most of us will say chocolat for brown. The color black is noir. Noir. So a lot of times in Michif, we'll take OI sounds in French, because of course black in French is noir, but we tend to change them to AY sounds in Michif. And that's just sort of a remnant of the fact that Michif is made up of like 17th century French, which is how black would have been pronounced long ago. So noir is what we say. Blue is exactly the way you'd say it in French, bleu. Bleu. Red is rouge. Rouge. It's nice if you can roll the R, but if you can't, it's perfectly fine to say rouge. Purple is violette. Violette. Gray is gris. Gris. Silver is l'argent. L'argent, which of course is money. Gold is l'or. L'or. Pink is rose. Rose. Green is vert. Vert. White is blanc. And it's got that remember we talked, if you were here last week, we talked about how when a word comes from French and Michif, the N is a nasally N. So it's not blonde. You kind of got to plug your nose. Blanc. The N is sort of, it's a nasally N. Blanc. You say it, but you don't say it. You get right up to the line and then you pull that horse back. Blanc. And orange is orange. Orange. So we'll do it one more time, quickly this time. Jaune, chocolat, noir, bleu, rouge, violette, gris, l'argent, l'or, rose, vert, blanc, orange. Okay. So if you wanted to ask somebody what color is something, you would say, quelle couleur on ma? The word oma means this. So when you say quelle couleur on ma, you're usually holding something and saying, what color is this? Okay. So I'm getting renovations on my house done right now, so I don't have a lot of things that I could have pulled out. So you're going to notice a very random collection of things that I pulled out here to ask you what color is this. But we'll see if you can see this. Quelle couleur on ma? If somebody wants to try and answer. Quelle couleur on ma?
Vert.
Vert. So if you want to get fancy, you could say that is green, and the word that is anima. So you'd say vert anima. Vert anima. Good. Let's see. Let's try this one. Quelle couleur on ma?
Blanc.
Blanc anima. That's white.
Blanc anima.
I don't know what this is, but quelle couleur on ma?
Noir.
Noir.
Vert.
Noir.
Noir. Gris amena.
Yeah, apchiche le gris. There's a little bit of gray in there. Yeah, somebody's got good eyes. Les bons yeux. You got good eyes.
Tanche Toyen, sparkly.
Sparkly. Comme les étoiles, maybe? Like the stars? Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. Why do you got to stump me, Lila? Let's see. Oh, some good old Lysol wipes. Quelle couleur on ma?
Jaune anima.
Jaune anima. Good. Let's see here. What about this guy? Quelle couleur on ma?
Bleu. Anima.
Good. Bleu anima. Okay.
Blah.
Okay, I'm going to test you guys. What I'd like you to do is take 10 seconds and find something around you that has a color. And then I'm going to ask some volunteers to ask the group, quelle couleur on ma?
Quelle couleur on ma? Quelle couleur on ma?
So if you have something and you would like to ask the group, I'll just get you to put your hand up. Stephen, question mo kaskas.
Quelle couleur on ma?
Ooh.
L'argent anima.
L'argent anima. Good job. Amanda?
Quelle couleur uma?
Bleu anima.
Bleu.
Oh, you guys are smart. Bleu anima. Dallas, or Dallas's iPad.
Okay. Quelle couleur, Oma? Can you see it?
Namoya.
Your face, Mom.
Oh, jeez. Sorry.
Yank
Can
to
you see it?
visage.
Quelle couleur, Uma?
You can't see it. You can't see it. I'll help you.
Okay.
If you pull here.
Well, what the heck?
It's okay. I'm the same way, Dallas's iPad.
Jesus.
So your camera's right there, Mom.
Well, where?
Right there.
Quelle couleur, Uma?
Ah.
Love Amina.
Lord anima. It's gold. Good job.
Mhm.
Madeline.
Quelle couleur anima?
Blanc anima.
That's too much lighting.
Violette.
Rose anima.
Rose Anima.
Is it pink? Are we
It's
right?
purple, actually. It's just
Oh,
light.
so
The light
somebody.
is messing with it.
Okay, somebody said purple in here.
Violet?
Good job. Charmaine.
Quelle couleur anima?
Oh.
Quelle couleur Oma?
Rouge.
Rouge anima?
Rouge Anima.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys answered that because I would have said Violette, but I'm colorblind. So, Melinda and Kelly.
It's just Melinda here.
Okay.
Quelle couleur Oma?
Ooh.
Chocolat anima?
Good. Tanchika etoyen and fiddle on Machif. Do you know how to say a fiddle in Machif?
Fiddle?
and violun.
Really?
Yeah, and violun. Yeah.
I did not know that. I have to write that. Violun?
Violun. Yeah.
Violun. Okay.
Yeah. Nicole.
Quelle couleur anima?
Quelle couleur?
Orange anima.
Anima? Orange anima?
Oui.
Good. So it's orange. Good job. Okay, let me see. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody who wanted to try. Looks like I don't see any more hands up. So good job, you guys. Did really well on that one. Okay, so the next thing we're going to learn is on the other side of the graph here, and it's how to count. And again, numbers come directly from French. We just say them a little bit differently. So I'll just get you to mute yourself, and then you can repeat after me. So one is hand. Hand, and it's that nasally N again, hand. Okay, so it's a little different from French where you would say une. In Michif, we say hand. Two is deux. Deux. Three is trois. Trois. See, it's a little tricky because you've got that R in there. Trois. Again, if you say trois, which is what the French would be, a Michif will understand you. So, the word four is quatre. Quatre. 5 is sang. So it's got that nasally N, sang. We drop the K where you would see it in French as sank. We drop that K in Michif, sang. 6 is sis. Sis. 7 is set. Set. 8 is wit. Wit. 9 is naf. Naf. 10 is jis. Jis. 11 is onze. Onze. 12 is douze. Douze. 13 is treize. Treize. 14, quatorze. Quatorze. 15, quinze. So the N is a little nasally there. Quinze. If you say canes, somebody's going to bring you a cane. 16 is says. Says. So it says the myrtle, I says. 17, Gisette. Gisette. 18, Jesuit. Jesuit. 19, Gisnaf. Gisnaf. 20, vin. So there's another nasally N there. Vin. 30, my age. Zif, skumasha. 30. 30. 40, 40. Oh yeah, now we're getting closer to my age. 40. 50, 50. 50. 60, 60. 60. 70, 70. 70. 80, 80. 80. 90 is 90. 90. And 100 is 100. 100. So I'll go through them one more time quickly this time, and I won't say the English this time. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And if you look at the very top of the chart here, there's really two ways that you can say how much or how many. And in fact, you can actually use them both interchangeably. One comes directly from Cree, one comes from French. So again, I've got how much and how many beside each, but you can actually use both of these interchangeably. So how you would say how much is Tamaya Kok, or you can also say Kobang. And again, you can use both of them for how much or how many. Tamaya Kok, got to push that H out. Tamaya Kok, or Kobang. Kobang. So if you look at the bottom of the chart here, I've got a sample sentence here. Tamaya Kok li frère kitayanchin. So the word Tamaya Kok is how many? Li frère is brothers. Kitayan is you have. And the word chin is something that you put on the end of a sentence when you want to ask a question. Okay. So Tamaya Kok li frère kitayanchin means how many brothers do you have? And if you had two brothers, I don't. I'm not sure why I put this, but you could say deux les frères ne Dayan. If you don't have any brothers, you could say Namo Dayan li frère. I don't have any brothers. Okay. So I'm going to ask some people how many brothers they have. See if you can answer here. Let's see here. Let's try Alexander. Tamaya kokli frère kitayanchin.
Nia Chi. Yeah, okay. I didn't just making sure there's no other Alexanders here. Namoli Fred Dayan. Dayawo.
Okay. No brothers, eh? Let's see. Laila, Tamaya kokli frère kitayanchin.
Ndayan hen frère. C'est sinon c'est Kyle. Obe Shinakasho Kyle.
Oh, cool. Let's see. Jinx, Tamaya kokli frère kitayanchin.
Deux les frères and Dayan.
Perfect. Let's try Tafim. I hope I pronounced that right. Tafim, Tamaya kokli frère kitayanchin.
Namoya li frère Dayan.
Good job.
Maka trois how do I say sisters?
Les sœurs.
Les sœurs.
Ah, good job. Oh, you impressed me with the add-on there. Raquel, Tamaya kokli frère kitayanchin.
Deux les frères ne Dayan.
Oh, perfect. Good job. Sorry, I'm just checking the chat real quick. I want to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Somebody's asked me, is it anima or anama? Well, we know it's not enema. That would hurt. Anima, the first that you've got there, the first version, anima is correct. Okay. And then somebody else asked, so numbers use the J and not the ZH. It depends where it is. And it also depends on what the origin word is. But yes, most numbers, if it's the beginning, will use JH. So the J sound, which is similar to the ZH sound. Somebody asked, one too many. Mishtetli frère, many brothers. Let's see. Let me ask one more person here. Rick, I know you're new here. I just saw you pop in. But if you use the sample sentence, so I'm asking Tamaya kokli frère kitayanchin, and then you would put in the number of brothers you have, and then add nidayan. You want to give it a shot?
Okay, I'll do my best. Maya Cook, Lifre, Dayan, Chin.
Are you asking me?
Say soon? Say soon? 5?
Oh, 5 brothers. So Saint les frères nidayan.
Daily Frere.
Oh, that's a lot of brothers. Wow. Big family.
Yeah.
And grosse famille. Good job. Okay, so let's move on here to numbers. So that's at the bottom of your page here. And we've got, I only have a couple examples of money because honestly, if you know your numbers, then all you really need to know is how to say cents. And the word cents is sous. So 5 cents is 5 sous. 5 sous, 5 cents. And if you want to say dollars, you'd say piastres. So $1 is un piastre. Un piastre. I've put AEN here just to show you that AEN and HEN, they're often written, they mean the same thing, but you'll often see it written both ways. So it's the exact same word. It means one. $1 is un piastre. If you want to say $1.50, you would say en piastres en mi. Mi means a half, so it's like $1.50. En piastres en mi. And $10 would be je piastres. GPS. It's kind of like GPS. GPS. So if you want to ask how much something costs, you would say Tamaya kok itahketek. So again, two fun hidden H's for us. Tamaya kok itahketek. Tamaya kok itahketek. So if you want to say, how much is a chocolate bar? Which I often say because I like chocolate. Tamaya kok itahketek en bar shakwala. How much is this chocolate bar? And chocolate bars are about $2 these days. So if you want to say that, you'd say du pias. Du pias. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to find something again, something that's around you in your house. And then I'm going to ask you to ask the rest of us. Make sure we can see it in your camera. And then somebody will try to guess. It's kind of like, what's that game show where you try to guess the prices of things? Oh, Price is Right. That was a dumb question. So look around you, see if you can find something that we'll be able to guess the price of. Somebody asks, are there masculine and feminine versions of an? There aren't. So an N is an N is an N. Okay, so give people a couple more seconds to grab something around them. Hopefully you're not grabbing your partner and asking how much are they, because they might not appreciate it. Okay, I see Nicole's hand up. Do you have something to price out for us, Nicole?
Can you see that?
Que kaya nama? Oh, Lila Sad, is it beads?
Wait. So tamaya ko itahketek.
Oh, who's the beaters here? Does anybody know how much a little vial of beads costs?
Saint Pias?
Trois pias.
Oh, so Kigat Charmaine, you were close there. Yeah. Charmaine
I'm
guessed
over.
$5.
I'm over, so I'm out.
You're overpaying for your beads, Charmaine.
Well, no, I'm just buying expensive ones. That's
You
that's
are,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lila, do you have something?
Aha, yeah.
Tamaya Kukli Blanc.
Tanamayaguk itahketek. Tanamayaguk itahketek.
Okay.
12 pias.
12 pias. I don't know. I don't think so. Je pense que moya.
100 piastres.
Nemo makatan semayans sakatan.
Tandeka Tawan La Blanc. Where did you buy that blonde woman?
Dans la planche.
Because I was thinking if it's Valou Village, that'll affect the price. So.
Dans le magasin. À Walmart, je pense.
Okay. So maybe about was 12 piastres, or about right guess about $12.
Je pense 20.
Oh, about 20. Holy, Barbies are expensive. Shakaka still. Okay, Jinx, do you have something you want to show us?
Yes. Tamia Kok Itakitek.
Oh.
Oh.
Shukuna pa, Tamaya Cook and Shej. How much is a chair these days? Anybody want to take a shot? Just go ahead and shout it out if you think you know.
30 piastres?
30 piastres?
2 piastres.
2 piastres?
2 piastres.
Holy!
Good.
Tandegi Atawan, where did you get it?
Garage sale.
Ah. Makes sense, makes sense. Okay, let's see. Is a $2 chair safe to sit on? I don't know. That's a question for another day. Okay, so I don't see anybody else's hand up. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody here. So we're gonna move on here to the bottom of the, or the top of the second page actually, which is demonstratives. I didn't actually put this in the preview for tonight's lesson, but I thought, well, it'll come in handy if we're talking about, you know, how much is this and how much is that. It probably will be helpful for you guys to know how do you say this and that. Now, I'm going to make your lives difficult because in Michif, there are different versions for demonstratives that are inanimate than there are for animate. Okay, so things that are living and things that are not living. So we'll start with the things that aren't living. So things like chairs and desks and my cat comb. Those things obviously aren't living. So how you would say this is oma. Oma. So you can see it here highlighted in what I think is peach. So if you want to say this is my chair, in Michif, the this would come at the end of the sentence. Although if you put it at the beginning, a Michif will be fine with that. They'll understand. So you could say ma chaise oma. Ma chaise, which is a chair, oma. This is my chair. Ma chaise oma. If you're not directly by something and you're pointing at it, you want to say that. And how you say that for an inanimate object is anima. Anima. So you'd say, ma chaise anima. That's my $2 chair over there. Ma chaise anima. If you want to say these, you say ohin. Ohin. And the ends are both nasally ends. Ohin. So if you say these are my chairs, you'd say ohin mi chaise. And again, if you are far away from those chairs and you want to say those are my chairs, although that seems like an odd thing to say, you'd say equanahin. Equanahin. Equanahin mi chaise. Those are my chairs over there, bro. So if you want to ask, what is this? So again, it's implied when you're using the word oma that you're pretty much touching that thing. Okay. So the word kekwai in Michif, that's the word what. So if you want to ask somebody in Michif, what is this? You'd say kekwai oma. Kekwai oma. And brosta sha. A cat brush, apparently. So how you could answer that, I'm using the example window actually in this sentence. You could say, en sasi anama. So what is this? That is a window. Kekwaioma. En sasi anama. Now, if you want to pluralize it, you'd say, kekwaion. What are these? And I use the word gloves. That's ligan. So you'd say, ligan e kwanahen. Those are gloves. Kekwaion. Ligan e kwanahen. So we've only got a few minutes left, but I'm going to ask for one person to grab something. It could be one thing or it could be a few things. And I'd like you to ask using an inanimate demonstrative. Ask us either what is this or what is that or what are these or what are those? And then we'll try to answer. Okay, Charmaine's got her hand up. What do you got, Charmaine?
Kekwaioma.
Oh my. If you don't know the word that it is in Michif, you can use English. That's okay.
In bag? A ring?
Yeah, good job. So you would say anima, right? That. Yeah. Good job. Okay, let's see if somebody else has got something here. What? Nobody has anything? All right.
I do.
Okay, what do you got?
Can you see that?
Okay, yep.
So Kekwai Oma.
En fleur anima.
Um,
Is it a flower?
no. I'll give you a hint. It's from La Vallée, Catapois. From La Vallée Catapois. It's like un médecin.
Ah, la médecine, Oma. It's medicine. La présente, Nama. Is it sage?
Oui.
Ah, nice. La présente. So that's a really good example, although we would have to use the words at the bottom here because it's a plant, therefore it's animate. So really quickly, before we end the class, we'll just do a really quick review of animate, okay? So animate, to say something, if you're saying this is my friend Joe, you would say awa. That's how you say this for something that was either, that is alive or that was once alive. So this is my friend Joe. Mo nasa si Joe awa. It's fine to say ami. Lots of people say ami for friends. In the valley, we tend to say nasa si. So this is my friend Joe. Mo nasa si Joe awa. If you want to say that is my friend Joe, you'd say Anna. Mo nasa si Joe Anna. And if you want to say these are my friends Joe and John, you would use the word okik. Okik. Okik mi nasa si Joe egwa John. And if Joe and John are far away from you, because maybe they don't want to be friends with you anymore, you would say, mi nasa si Joe egwa John unkik. Unkik. There is an I in here, but you don't actually pronounce it. If you do pronounce it, it's fine. You can say unkik. That's fine. But most fluent Michif speakers kind of contract it to be unkik. Okay. But I'm always told when I'm learning, my teachers always say to me, you got to say it at first until you learn the word. So unkik. Mi nasa si Joe egwa John unkik. And hopefully they'll come back to you if they run away. Come back, Joe and John. So here's some sample sentences. If you want to say, who is that? So the word who in Michif is wena. Wena. So who is that? Wena ana. Wena ana. And if you want to say, what is that? If you're talking about something living, like the sage we were just shown, you could say kekwayana. What is that plant? Or what is that the living thing that you're holding? Kekwayana. And you would answer with, oh, mo wezen ana. That's my neighbor. Mo wezen ana. The word wezen is neighbor. And if you want to say, who are those people? Who are those people outside my window? You would say, mi cousin anakik. Those are my cousins peering in my windows. Yoy. Mi cousin anakik. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Did somebody have a comment or a question? I think I might have cut somebody off.
I was gonna try just because my son is behind me, but I can't do it without the cheat sheet.
Is it something that's living or something that's not living?
Are you living? Yeah, he's living.
Okay, so you could say wena ana. Who is that?
Wena ana.
Yep.
And then is it Fis? Or
you say mon petit garçon, my little boy. Mon petit
okay.
garçon. Yep.
Mon petit garçon Anna?
Yeah. Yep. Or you can say awa, either or.
Anna. Awa.
Yeah. Good job. Give me otto 10. Anybody else want to try before we have some last words? I like jinx. Li crocs say kwanai. Yes, those are crocs. I don't see anybody else's hand up, so. Okay, so as usual, I will stick around for a few minutes after the Zoom if people have any questions. But thanks for joining us again tonight. Geez, I always find these classes go super, super fast. Hopefully you learned a little bit more tonight, and we will see you next week. And if you remember how we say goodbye to a group of people, we say kawapa mitna wow. Kawapa mitna wow. I'll see you all again. Kawapa mitna wow.